You feel it before you see it. A wall rising silently in front of you, invisible yet undeniable. Each step forward meets resistance, not from the world, but from within. The sweat of effort pours out, but the surface refuses to give. Your hands ache from pushing, your mind trembles from trying, and still the wall holds. It is built not from stone, but from habit, from fear, from the quiet agreements you have made with yourself. Ancient warriors recognized these walls first, before any external opponent. They understood that the greatest battle is not fought across fields or against men, but within the mind. Modern men are told to act, to hustle, to move. Yet movement without direction only reinforces limits. You exhaust yourself in the illusion of progress, tiring your body while the wall solidifies. Comfort, safety, routine, they are the bricks you lay unconsciously. Each practical choice, each surrendered desire, strengthens it. You wonder why effort feels hollow, why persistence brings no breakthrough. The answer has been standing in your shadow all along. What if the limits you curse are not barriers imposed by life, but agreements you have kept honoring? What if every hesitation, every compromise is a nail in your own cage? Recognition stings because it carries truth. You have been fighting, yes, but against yourself. The first step to breaking through is to see the wall for what it truly is, and then to decide that it will no longer stand in your way. Even the strongest man reaches the point where his mind fractures first, long before the body yields. Musashi, young and undefeated in appearance, felt this fracture. In the shadow of swords and the breath of death, doubt crept in like fog across a battlefield. He faced moments where victory was uncertain, where fear could have claimed him if he had listened. Ancient battles were not only tests of skill, but crucibles of thought, each decision weighing heavier than the last. Modern life offers no such clarity, yet it delivers the same pressure in subtler forms. Deadlines, expectations, comparison, they grind the spirit without ceremony. Musashi's lesson was simple and brutal. Strength begins in perception. When the mind bends or falters, the body cannot act with precision or intent. Limits reveal themselves through conflict, not comfort. You cannot know the strength you carry until the weight of doubt is placed squarely upon your shoulders. It is here, at the brink, that the warrior distinguishes himself, not by avoiding the fracture, but by stepping into it, observing its shape, and refusing to let it define him. The first battle is always internal, and victory there sets the stage for every external conquest to follow. Most men never break through because they have consented to their own confinement. Limits are reinforced not by force, but by repetition, by the habitual acceptance of safety. Society celebrates predictability, marking compliance as wisdom. Men confuse motion with progress, activity with achievement, and effort with mastery. They move, yes, but never toward what is unknown, never toward the edge where growth begins. Ancient survival demanded adaptation. The warrior had to bend, to test, to endure. Modern life hides these tests behind comfort and convenience. Your identity shrinks to fit a mold that promises security but delivers stagnation. Fear whispers under the guise of knowing your place, and the mind listens, eager to rationalize obedience. Limits solidify not because you are incapable, but because you have never challenged the agreements you silently maintain to break through. You must recognize the subtle chains. You must see the compromise masquerading as prudence. Only then can the first fissure appear in the wall you have been reinforcing every day. Musashi was not born into mastery. He inherited no prestige, no guaranteed path. What he possessed was refusal, refusal to accept limits, refusal to defer responsibility, refusal to blame birth or circumstance. Ancient warriors knew that skill is forged, not gifted. Mastery is hammered out in moments of deliberate confrontation with one's own inadequacy. Modern men, however, cling to labels and ceilings as excuses. Talent becomes a convenient excuse for inaction. Destiny is a story whispered by fear, a tale designed to keep you small. You tell yourself that greatness is for others, that the mountain is too high, that someone else will chart the path. The illusion comforts you, but it also confines you. Musashi's lesson was that limits dissolve when responsibility is accepted. When you stop blaming circumstance, genetics, or fortune, the mind discovers the edge it feared. Talent is not the barrier, it is the excuse. Destiny is not fixed, it is forged. The moment you claim responsibility, the invisible walls begin to crack. The real battlefield is not outside you. It is here, in the corridors of thought, in hesitation, in indecision. Musashi recognized that his truest enemy was internal, a mind filled with doubt, fear, and the seductive pull of comfort. Mental hesitation is the root of defeat, more lethal than any blade. Ancient warriors trained the mind with intention, perception, and relentless confrontation with discomfort. Modern men avoid these struggles, mistaking distraction for courage. Musashi's turning point came when he faced himself, fully unarmed and unshielded. The war was no longer against men, but against weakness, illusion, and inertia. In this mental war, every pause is a test. Every doubt is a potential defeat. Musashi understood that to act decisively under pressure requires mastery over the internal battlefield first. This is where limits are challenged most fiercely, where the mind must be as unyielding as the steel he wielded. The first strike must land inside before it can strike without. Musashi moved with the calm of one who has faced death and discovered that it is only an event, not a judgment. Stillness is not passivity. It is clarity. It allows the warrior to see the shape of threat, to hear the rhythm of battle, to act with precision. Ancient timing outweighed brute force. The slightest motion, deliberate and measured, could decide life or death. Modern men are noisy, reactive, pulled by impulses and endless distraction. The mind thrashes in chaos, never pausing long enough to understand what is present. Pressure, when observed calmly, reveals true capacity. Stillness does not dull the senses. It expands them. It creates space where limits are not imposed but tested. Musashi's mastery was born in these silent moments, where the storm raged around him, but he remained unshaken. Fear is an unspoken contract. You have consented to it, granted it authority over your decisions without realizing it. Musashi acted despite this inner resistance, moving forward while every instinct screamed caution. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is the refusal to honor it as law. Ancient courage was disciplined. It was a movement chosen, deliberate and conscious. Modern avoidance disguises itself as patience, as prudence, as wisdom. But when fear loses its authority, limits collapse. The mind yields control only when it understands that resistance is an illusion. Musashi's breakthrough was not a miracle, it was the decisive moment when he refused to negotiate with hesitation, when he acted in alignment with what he knew to be true. Breaking through does not end the struggle. It reshapes it. New responsibility arrives alongside expanded capacity. Isolation often follows. for those who see and act where others will not. Ancient warriors respected restraint after power. They understood that mastery carries weight, not applause. Modern craving for recognition can betray the gains of struggle. Strength is not measured by admiration, but by the integrity with which it is carried. Growth requires vigilance. The limits that fell yesterday will rise in new forms tomorrow. Musashi understood that life beyond old limits is not easy. It is deeper, it is quieter, it is exacting, and it asks more of the man than he ever imagined asking of himself. Musashi's final understanding was simple and immutable. Limits return endlessly. Mastery is not a destination, but a lifelong mental discipline. Every man chooses daily between stagnation and struggle, between fear and action, between comfort and expansion, walking forward without attachment to the past, without bitterness or regret, is the hallmark of the warrior who has seen his limits and refused to bow to them. Power is rooted in self-awareness, in the discipline of knowing and acting despite fear, doubt, and exhaustion. The final image is of a man who outgrows himself repeatedly, silently, without applause. A man who understands that the battle is not won once, but lived every day. The path never ends, yet each step forward is a testament to a mind unbroken, a body tested, and a spirit willing to confront the edges it once feared.